Okay, yeah, hello, hey, hi, hey, ho, hey, he, ha. Okay, and let's get right into the end of day for today. Another day where nothing really good presented itself. USD CAD, you had a break of structure, right? Market retraces. If you were aggressive, you would have looked to enter around this point if you were aggressive, but seeing as though there's a chalk there, you want to wait for the M5 and then it busts through the zone and then there's nothing continuing forward. And then looking for buys from here is not the highest probability because you are coming off this 4-hour zone, so buying off of here is just not the highest probability. So we'll just see tomorrow what happens. GPUSD, same, nothing high probability. London, we had a sweep of this Asian low into the zone, and obviously because there is a chalk there, I'm not looking to enter immediately on this. I want to see a chalk up again. Even though technically you could have taken this, but this would have been a big entry. Let's see, this would have been a big entry, and then look at the rest of the world, not so great for 3.3, maybe, yeah, maybe not, but obviously coming into a 50-minute zone like this, at the very least I'd want to wait for a 50-minute chalk and then play the POI that forms, like right here where you had it switch bullish here, but then once it switches bullish you would have this area here as a zone, right? But this is not a strong zone because it failed to create a high, and then obviously as you can see it also fails to create a high again, so low probability scenarios right there, nothing great. Euro USD is still trapped within this internal high and this internal low, and so obviously I wouldn't do anything in there until we have a clear direction on what's going on. Because just playing this tiny price action is just a recipe for disaster. Nothing good will happen here. So yeah, we're just waiting for development on that. And then EJ a little bit interesting, a little bit more interesting because there's actual moves here coming into cover the overall first. Overall 15-minute is bullish, right? But then we do have it come down and then switch bullish on the internal, right? So for London you would have had the break of the internal high right there. This would be the internal high, break there. These would be POIs within, and then nothing concrete in here in terms of POIs. You would then have this momentum come in. Once that momentum comes in, you have a low here, goes higher. This is a chalk, obviously that you want to wait for M5-minute entry on this POI here. Even though it's iffy, still a POI, and it would require you to be like insanely aggressive to even think of entering on it, right? You don't have an entry, sweeps you out. You don't have an entry, sweeps you out. goes lower, sweeps more. There's nothing really interesting with these POIs within here or in here. And then you have a little bit of move up. This is a valid chalk. This is a valid chalk, but it is also going up against this, so it makes this POI here low probability. And once that's low probability, as you can see, it gets ran and then it immediately shoots up, having an iBoss right there. And now interesting part is that you have this right reaction, but it's not an actual POI because it's a pullback, yes, but not the type I would look for in terms of it being an inside bar like this one here. So I wouldn't have this was not a valid POI, even though in this case it did hold and continue higher. So yeah, not the best of days. We'll just have to see what happens tomorrow. Not the current price action overall is just not that great. So yeah, we'll see from tomorrow what happens. Yeah, peace.